you beautiful human, and welcome back to my channel. How are y'all doing? How is life treating you? We are like almost a month into 2024, and that is absolutely insane to me. Like, I feel like every year, I feel like the year is on hyperspeed. There's only been a few years where I've been like, oh, the year is moving really slow, or it's moving normal pace. But most years, I feel like the year is moving on hyperspeed, and I need it to simmer down. I need to slow down just a hair. I'm sitting here at the desk again. Got some green tea. So, a little side note before we jump into this week's topic. I have been drinking green tea every morning for like the past month. It is a part of my morning menu is to have some form of tea. Typically it's green tea, and I have been loving it. It's like a little kickstart to my day with some caffeine. And so yeah, I've got my green tea here with like two scoops of honey and like a dash of almond milk. It's good. What else is happening in my world? Oh, something else that's happening in my world that I am trying to be okay with is, so I'm training for a half marathon in March, and my body is just not liking it. And so I'm trying to find the balance between really pushing myself to finish out my training and adapting my training to what my body needs right now. There's always such a fine line between that, but I think I'm just going to adapt my training to what my body needs right now. It's cold, my joints are aching. And I told myself when I started running that I was going to run for fun. Like, nothing about running was supposed to be like competitive or strenuous. It was just a hobby that I was going to pick up, whether it be for a lifetime or just a little bit of time, to do something new and something that was fun to me. And so I don't want it to lose that like spark. So instead of training 3 days a week, I'm about to start training only 1 day a week and doing one long run on the weekend and calling it quits. That's for me to be able to keep my distance, not really worry about pace or time, but just keep my body's ability to run 10 to 13 miles on any given weekend. So yeah, that's what's happening there. Maybe when it warms back up, I'll find my love for running. Another thing I want to pick up in February is yoga. So two of my big things on my list this year as far as movement activity that I want to incorporate are swimming and yoga. I want to incorporate those into like my monthly overview of what health and wellness look like to me. And so I'm hoping to do yoga twice a week and go swimming at least once a month here in the near future. So I'm going to start with yoga in February, and I'm so excited. My friend Savannah recommended a yoga studio, and so I'm definitely going to try them out. I'm going to like pay for 1 or 2 classes in February and then just do a package deal in March just to see if I like the environment before I sign up for a renewed package every month. But yeah, y'all, I think that's it for me. School is schooling. There's nothing else happening there that's really interesting. Research is not my jam, but I'm like, Angeline, you are in the final stages, so just do the work. It's kind of hard sometimes to do the work. I'm not gonna lie. If I'm honest, this month of January, there's been very minimal work done for my dissertation, but we're going to change that. We are going to change that headed into February. So this week's topic is 4 things I'm prioritizing in 2024. Plus I have a little bonus one that just kind of came across my mind as I was listening to a podcast this morning. And so technically it's 5, but we're going to title this video 4 because we love alliteration and we love numbers and we love things that like flow in a title. So we're going to say it's 4 things plus a bonus. Okay, so the first thing I'm prioritizing in 2024 is time with God. I absolutely believe that I have had some rough years, last year, year before last, previous years in college, and they were rough simply because I was not connected. And I believe that connection is so important. I believe that you need a spiritual practice the same way our bodies need movement, they need nourishment, they need rest. Our bodies, our spiritual has a need that has to be fed. And I'm never a pushy Christian. However, I do encourage everybody to get a spiritual practice that aligns with what they feel they need in this world. And so I am prioritizing time with God. If I have a spiritual practice that is on point, that has like a regimented set time, get up in the morning, read your Bible, do your devotional, turn on some worship music. If I have a set time to worship and sit with God. I absolutely feel like the rest of my day, it may not be smooth sailing. Okay, we're not going to go that far. But it is like I have an anchor when the winds start to blow really hard. When the sea feels like it's going to throw me upside down, I have an anchor that is like keeping me grounded. Some days are smooth sailing, others are not. And I recognize that on those days that are not smooth sailing, I'm thankful that I have that regimented time with God in the morning that anchors me, that grounds me. And then at nighttime, I am starting to just journal a little bit. I'm not even going to flex like it's this long drawn out thing, but it is just like a jot down of my thoughts, emotions, feelings, in a bulleted list that just kind of allow me to settle my brain and get out of my head what I've been feeling throughout the day. So I have something that grounds me in the morning in my spiritual practice, and I have something that grounds me at night to just kind of help me get into the mode of catching and releasing what is or what is not for me. Y'all, she loves her little squeaky toy, so I'm sorry. But catching and releasing what is not for me. So in the morning, you can't squeak it right now, poo-poo. No squeaking right now. But this practice of waking up and catching what is for me, rooting and anchoring myself in the word, or time with God, and then releasing what is not for me before I go to bed. It is this practice of catch and release, catch and release. And I'm going to prioritize that throughout the entire year, because I absolutely 110% say that when everything has its designated time and place, when we are taking care of our mental health, taking care of our spiritual health, prioritizing our physical health, we live the most optimized life possible. So number one on things I am prioritizing in 2024 is time with God, getting my spiritual life intact and in order, and making sure that it is what I set my day around, not what comes at the end, not what comes once a week, but it is how I set the pace for my day. Number two on the list of things that I'm prioritizing in 2024 is divine, authentic femininity. I think this construct of femininity that we are seeing right now in the world can almost feel cookie cutter. It can feel isolating, because if you don't align with those things, then you're like, am I not feminine? Am I not a woman? Do I not know what that means? And I am on this journey to figure out what that looks like authentically for me. And I'm really excited to take y'all along with me as I navigate it. But divine and authentic femininity. Not what I see another YouTuber do, not what I see the girls on TikTok doing, not what I see the people on the Instagram do, but what feels natural to me. And I've already started incorporating some things in the month of January that feel very authentic to me, that allow me to tap into that divine feminine, that woman space that I'm looking for. And don't get me wrong, there are some things that I am catching on these YouTube videos, on these other platforms that are beneficial, that I'm like, oh, I really like that. I like that idea. I like that movement that is happening. And I am releasing some things that absolutely do not pertain to me. There are some things that I just won't be doing because I just don't feel like it aligns with my lifestyle or my personality. Taking that idea of catch and release with us throughout our entire year in different areas of our life can be so powerful. But in terms of divine feminine energy, I am placing on me what I feel fits who I am as an individual, placing some things in my future that maybe are not who I am currently, but who I aspire to be, and shedding some things that girl like Angie would be doing or engaging in. And so divine, authentic, feminine energy is something I'm prioritizing. What does that feel like to me? What does that look like? Maybe making a mood board or a Pinterest board of things that exude that and tapping into that. It's something I'm really honing in on this year. And I want this journey, as I shared on my Instagram and all of my social media platforms and with you guys on YouTube, to not feel isolating, like as if you're not doing it, then you're not in your divine feminine, and vice versa. I don't want to feel like I have to emulate or encompass something that is not authentic to me. I just always want you guys to know that anything I'm sharing because it's working for me. Catch and release the content that I am putting out there as well. If it doesn't work for you, if you're like, oh, that's not really my jam, that's not really my vibe, that's okay. So divine feminine energy is something that I'm prioritizing in 2024 to determine what does that even look like for me. The third thing I'm prioritizing in 2024 is my marriage. And I think I won't say we all, people have this idea of marriage. People have these things they either see on TV or these Instagram or content creating couples that people aspire to be like. And we have some really great people who are putting out content right now about the ins and the outs and the struggles and the ups and downs of marriage. But I can say for myself, growing up or even in my dating phase, the idea of being married was talked about, like how much that's a beautiful thing and yay marriage and I can't wait for y'all to get engaged. But nobody talks about the meat and potatoes of marriage. At least when I was in the dating arena, I did not see a whole lot of content about what does a healthy marriage look like? How do you build a healthy marriage? What do the ups and downs of marriage look like? I see a lot of us aspiring to marry, but not enough of us talking about the work it takes to build a healthy marriage. So, not gonna lie, I don't know what the hell I'm doing as a wife. I don't know, but I am determined to figure it out and to figure it out as a unit. And as I figure out what that looks like, I hope to bring some of that to my channel as well. What I should have been asking from 2014 to 2021 is give me the real scoop, give me the tea on marriage. Because love my parents, and I think there have been some models of marriage that I have known and seen in my own life that I can either say I want that or I don't want that. I never have been given a blueprint on how to get there. I also understand that there is no one set blueprint for marriage because everybody's context in which they see their marriage or their relationships is different. So you have to determine that for yourself. So there are so many ins and outs, so many things to consider, but something I'm prioritizing in 2024 is navigating that for myself and our household. So number 3 on my list, that got long-winded and I could talk about it for days. But number 3 on my list is marriage, navigating what that looks like in this season for us. Number 4 is balance. I feel like I am such an extremist in certain areas of my life. I am either 0, take me out the game, coach, pull the covers over my head, I need to hibernate for a month kind of person, or I am 100. I am doing all the things all the time. What is rest? I don't get tired gang, like doing the most. And I'm at the point where I want to find balance in so many areas of my life. I want to find balance in my physical movement. Like that's where I'm starting in this first quarter, doing movement for my body that feels good. And I'm always going to be a gym loving, good sumo deadlift, good conventional deadlift, heavy back squat kind of girl. But I also want to do some things that allow me to tap into the softer part of who I am. And some of those things are not always found lifting heavy in the gym. I want to go to yoga and center myself and check in with what's happening on the inside. I want to go swimming and release the oppression associated with Black women, water, and our hair. I want to do things that feel good. I want to continue to enjoy my pole journey. I want to figure out what it means to walk in that divine, sensual, feminine energy while still being able to bench press your baby daddy. So, being able to find balance, y'all, I tickle myself. There does not have to be a single person in a room laughing with me, but some of the things that come out of my mouth, I'm like, you said that? Those were the words. But that is how I feel. I want to do things that exude sensual, feminine energy. I also want you to know that I'm not one to be fucked with. I'm not here to play patty cake with you. So there is a line in a way in which I am attempting to find that balance. And what does that look like for me? And that's just in one aspect of my life. When I talk about balance, I'm talking about school, work-life balance. I'm talking about the balance in friendships and the quality in friendships that I'm looking for. I'm talking about balance in terms of knowing when I need to push harder and when I need to scale back. Just overall in my life, something I'm going to prioritize in 2024 is balance. And so for quarter one, I'm starting with physical movement. How do I find balance between all the things I want to do so that I don't feel like a part of me is neglected and one part of me is over exerted or overworked? Finding good balance is number 4. And our bonus baby. I listen to Sarah Jakes Roberts' Woman Evolve podcast like consistently, like 2 or 3 times a week. I either listen to old back episodes or episodes that I've saved that have been really beneficial to me. I just absolutely love everything SJR. And it was absolutely confirmation listening to her podcast this morning. I'm going to link it below. But I think I struggle with, I know I struggle with acknowledging the things I do well. And on the podcast, she talked about what is the harm in acknowledging the things you do well. Are you worried about how people will perceive you? Are you worried about the call to elevation that it requires of you? Are you worried about backlash for being confident? What is the harm in recognizing what you do well? She also coupled it with faith without works is dead, that Bible verse. And so if God didn't have anything to work with, like if I just showed up empty-handed to my fight, then of course he has nothing to work with. And so instead of always chalking it up to like happenstance or being in some way humble to a fault, congratulating and telling myself that you did good. You did that. God was with you and he definitely helped you elevate to the next level, but you gave him something to work with. You showed up to the fight with the will to fight, so God equipped you with what you needed to go forward. And so I think like my bonus tip, or the bonus thing that I am going to carry with me into this year, is acknowledging what I'm doing well, whether it be silently, like in a journal and just jotting down things that I'm proud of over the month, or publicly. I am at a point where I don't want to overhype myself, but I need to start being my own hype woman. And that comes with acknowledging that, hey, you did that really well. Hey, you really showed up there. Hey, you really, brought your A game to that. Hey, you really improved on your thumbnails. Hey, I'm really proud of you for starting your YouTube channel. And not waiting for someone else to say it to me before I acknowledge it. Or not allowing someone else to say it to me and then be like, oh, being modest, Mary, and be like, oh, thanks, I tried. Or, I guess, or girl, I'm just doing my best. Letting that narrative go and saying thank you. Saying thank you, thank you, thank you. And patting myself on the back, because we are so used to doing it for everybody else. We are so used to being everyone else's cheerleader, to being everyone else's advocate, to being everyone else's wings so that they can soar. And when we do something well, we need to start acknowledging it. When I say we, I mean me and you, because I know somebody on the other end of this camera is struggling with the same thing. I am going to start accepting compliments from other people and complimenting myself. And I'm going to start small with just keeping a you did that section in my journal and just reminiscing, recalling, taking a step back to reflect on the things I do well from month to month. And so I encourage you to do the same. If you are somebody who struggles with acknowledging how well you're doing, maybe that's a tip that can help you. But you guys, that's it. That's a wrap for this week's video. Thank y'all for joining me. Thank you for your support. Thank you for every like, comment, or subscribe that comes through my channel. Again, follow me on all social media platforms at with Angie K. Drink you some tea and mind your business. Stay hydrated. Don't be ashy out here in these folks' cold weather. Moisturize your skin. That's important. Do something that makes you feel good and celebrate the people around you. Be kind, lend a helping hand, share a smile, all those things. And until next time, you guys, be great, be beautiful. I love ya.